Hey, all you Super Strecker Trekker Trek fans. Hey, I guess it's my turn again to do the video. So what I do is try to teach you something about what trucking is like. So last time is about how we scale a load and move the tandems on the trailer and all. This time I'm going to kind of show you some of the electronics we have on board the truck, as they're a little bit on the antiquated side, but it's still kind of impressive. And you kind of, maybe you've wondered, how do they know where to go? How do they know all the information, where to pick stuff up, where to drop it off, yada, yada, yada. Well, I'm going to flip it around here, and this is called a Qualcomm. If I can get it to focus on the actual thing here. And the most commonly used buttons on this, it's a touch screen. The most commonly used ones that we do are the top three on the left-hand side here: the messaging, hours of service, and navigation. So whenever we get a new load, they send it to us through this messaging system. And so I'll show you what that looks like. So we'll get a load offer, and it'll show us this kind of information, like where the load is picking up at, where it's going to. It gives us information like the number of miles it is, the number of pounds it is, what it is. And then it gives us other things like, do we need special permits? Do we need to be super on time with this load? And then gives us information like, it gives us a suggested trip plan, which I never pay any attention to because it's a computer generated crap in my opinion. But anyway, so they give us this, then we can choose to either accept or decline the load, and then they dispatch us through this program, so we can send out information. We also use this to let them know when we've arrived at the shipper, when we're loaded, when we've arrived at our final destination. There's all sorts of things we can do with this silly thing. And of course the thing is constantly talking to us. There are mandated laws that control the number of hours that truck drivers can drive. So we always are in some sort of status. Like right now we're in sleeper status, which means we're not on duty, we're not driving the truck, we're sitting here and eventually going to go to bed. It shows what time that started at, how long we've been in that status, so an hour and 24 minutes. Also shows how many miles we covered today, and if I go here to the summary, it'll show me how many hours in each of the different categories that truck drivers have to comply with that I have left. So that could be an entire video on its own. And then this shows us how much we've driven over the last the previous 8 days. So today we were actually driving 8 hours and 50 minutes and on duty 10 hours and 22 minutes. So that's a pretty average day for us. And then the navigation, it's basically a GPS, except that they actually send us all the information. So like they sent us the information on where we're picking up the load, where we're fueling at, and where we're going to. So like tomorrow we're going to this Spicer's paper plant in Kent, Washington with the load that we're picking up in the morning. And so it will automatically, we don't have to input the address or anything, it will automatically send us most of the time to even the correct driveway or side of the building, etc., etc., depending on how detailed the receiver has gotten in giving us information. Sometimes they'll geolocate or like do actual coordinates to the place that they want us to go. So so this will give us step by step. I can look at an overview of it to show me the route that it is choosing to send us on. Let me take it out of night mode, it's a little easier to see. And if I want to check a certain part of it, I can bring it to the center and zoom in on it, just to see if I want to follow it. We're not absolutely set to have to go the way that the machine tells us to, and we do still have all 50 state road atlas in the truck, and many times we'll compare roads with that, because this thing is just like any other GPS. It picks the shortest possible route. This one does make sure that it's places that trucks can actually go, so that's one bonus. But otherwise, sometimes it'll send us down some crazy streets. I'll tell you a story some other time about how it tried to get me to Seaside, Oregon from Portland via logging roads. So, good thing that I know the way to Seaside. So, that's just a little insight on how we get our information, how we know what loads we're going to go on, where it's going to, how much it is going to basically pay us, and that helps us decide whether we want to take that load or not. Also, this thing automatically, it's electronic logbooks, so with that hours of service section, it automatically, if the vehicle starts moving, it automatically puts me as driving. If I stop, it puts me as on duty but not driving. And I have to go in and manually take myself off duty though. But there's no fudging that. All the paper logs, that's the reason why they're mandating electronic logs starting in April, I believe, for all truck drivers, because it's pretty easy to manipulate the paper logs. But anyway, you know, people would never take advantage of those situations now, would they? So there's Kathleen sitting back there waiting for me to get done so that we can continue on with our night and watching our next episode of Battlestar Galactica. So I guess that's it for now. Any questions about any of that weird crap, just send us a message. Bye.